Justin Timberlake. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
You think Gigi's a lot better than you were at the same age?
Yeah, the dude did a step back double cross and went by somebody and dunked it. He's pulling it from 4-point line. Like, he's right though. I mean, there was a time in camp when he was like, less of what you're seeing, and that's just because his legs were gone because we're doing all this running, and then we got to play. Like, he doesn't know, like, the game isn't going to be like this.
The Chris Vernon Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Lindsey Harding has gotten a chance to interview for the Charlotte Hornets vacancy.
She's proven that she could coach on the men's side. She's done a fantastic job and got this G League opportunity and was Coach of the Year. This is fantastic for women's basketball.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
10 feet ahead and you catch me in something you'll never do. I turn around and I level you. No motivation is needed. Look, I put myself on the pedestal. This is incredible.
Take your fandom to the next level with the official Grizzlies app. Go all access and behind the scenes.
It's got to be heavy defense. That's where it starts for us.
Personalized to where you are and who you are. Get easy access to ticketing, the game day guide, and your own app customization right at your fingertips. Upgrade your experience and download the Grizzlies app today.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right. I'm here. My name's Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you. Then walk right in front of the camera. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. You know there's a camera there, right, Bennett?
Well, I didn't know what else to do.
All right.
I had to get up. Sorry.
And I hope you like interesting recruitments connected to five-star prospects, because University of Memphis seems to be really in one right now. Jayden Quaintance, five-star forward from North Carolina, is reportedly no longer considering John Calipari and the Arkansas Razorbacks. There's some thought that he really is down to Louisville and Memphis. Already visited Louisville. Got a visit with Memphis scheduled for this weekend. I'll walk you through it. Plus, interesting column from Mark Giannotto about the Memphis Athletic Director search. We'll talk about that as well. We'll do it in a second. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, right around 10:20 or so, Jason Munz is going to join me. He, of course, covers Penny Hardaway's Tigers for the Commercial Pip. I'll pepper him with questions about Jayden Quaintance, about other prospects Memphis is involved in, about the Memphis Athletic Director search. Jason Munz is going to join me in the next segment. Finish that. We'll take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we will discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, night 4 of the 2024 NBA playoffs was held last night. Minnesota blew out Phoenix again, take a 2-0 lead in that series. That wasn't good for you, Bennett. Meantime, Pacers, Bucks, Mavericks, Clippers, both those series now tied 1-1. We'll talk NBA, doing about 40 minutes. Reggie Bush officially getting his Heisman Trophy back. That's big breaking news this morning. Long overdue, better late than never. We'll discuss it in just a bit. Future, congrats to Future. He's joined an elite club among rappers. I'll tell you what he's done. We'll do that in the third segment. Interesting comments about Caleb Williams from an NFL executive in advance of Thursday's NFL draft. He, of course, is expected to be the number 1 pick. Quarterback out of USC, expected to be selected number 1 overall by the Chicago Bears. An NFL general manager has described him as weird, said it's as if Prince is quarterback.
That sounds cool.
It does sound cool.
Yeah.
Would it scare you
I'd
if
love
the Chicago
Prince.
Bulls?
No.
It wouldn't. I like Prince.
Yeah, it would scare me if I was the Chicago Bulls, yes.
Chicago Bears?
Yes, that's right.
You wouldn't want to draft Caleb Williams if you were the Bulls. I agree with you there.
No.
But with the Bears seems to make a little more sense.
Yes, it does.
We'll discuss that in just a bit. And we have a new Dear Jane.
Okay.
Published. It involves airplane habits. Nobody dies, no affair, nothing too crazy this time. But guys, travel partners with friends.
Yeah.
Somebody acted a little wacky. How do you deal with it? We'll discuss it. We'll figure it out. We'll do that during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's Carryout, and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. Got a lot to get to, but I did want to start with the University of Memphis because there was some encouraging news connected to the University of Memphis that broke after we left here yesterday. Jayden Quaintance, 5-star forward who was signed to play for John Calipari at Kentucky before John Calipari left Kentucky for Arkansas. He is now nearing a decision and reportedly down to Memphis and Louisville. Now, obviously...
Guess that Tyson Foods money wasn't enough.
Or something. Reportedly done with Arkansas, not going there. Obviously, with a recruitment of this magnitude involving someone this talented, anything could change at any moment.
Yeah.
But the latest information is that it is probably going to be Louisville or the University of Memphis. Bennett, can I interest you in a 5-star forward? He's only 16 years old. You know what that means?
What's that mean?
It means that he will not be eligible for the draft until 2026.
Oh.
So a player of this caliber is typically thought of as a one-and-done situation, but this young man is so young for his grade that he will not be eligible for the NBA draft until 2026, and that means that he's going to have to do 2 years of something before he goes to the NBA. It could be 1 year at Memphis, 1 year somewhere else, 2 years at Memphis, 2 years somewhere else, 1 year at Memphis, go to the G League Ignite, go to Overtime Elite. Options are plentiful, but this is a young person who is 2 years away from the NBA draft at least, and that means that in theory, if you get him, you'll have him for 1 year and have at least an opportunity to have him for 2. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
That would be nice. I won't get my hopes up about 2 years just because college basketball is extremely weird now, and I wouldn't get my hopes up about that.
Right.
But I'll take 1 year. That sounds awesome.
It does sound awesome. He is a 6'9" forward who played high school at Word of God Academy in Raleigh. If that sounds familiar, it probably should. That's where John Wall also went to high school before going to Kentucky to play for John Calipari. His father, Jason Munz, talked to his father yesterday, and among the interesting things that you just wouldn't know until you started talking to the father grew up in Florida. Guess who was a pretty famous athlete in the state of Florida when the father was younger? Penny Hardaway for the Orlando Magic. So the dad on some level grew up a fan of Penny Hardaway, or at least has found himself to be a fan of Penny Hardaway based on he lived in the state of Florida, and Penny Hardaway was a pretty famous athlete, significant athlete in the state of Florida. And I can't tell you how often that, like I've seen that type of thing in person with Penny at grassroots events. Like the kids at this point, everybody knows Penny Hardaway, right?
Yep.
But you would always see the parents get more excited about Penny because they're the,
he was famous when they were that age.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. So, the players are of an age where when LeBron James or Kevin Durant or Jason Tatum walks in, that resonates in a way. But with the parents, they get more excited to see Penny Hardaway than they do Jason Tatum.
The parents might get excited about LeBron now at this point.
Well,
he's up there.
He connects different generations,
yes,
for sure. So that's at least one advantage that Memphis theoretically has. The dad didn't grow up idolizing Pat Kelsey, so perhaps that's an advantage that could come into play. Ultimately, though, this will probably be a money deal, and I say that not to make it out to be anything other than what it is. Like most recruitments in college athletics these days, for a prospect of this caliber,
Yep.
it's largely going to come down to money.
Yeah.
And the dad did get quoted by Jason Munz as saying that will not be the determining factor, but like he also didn't say it doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you don't do it, somebody else is.
That's right. Yeah. So whatever that number, and there's like wild numbers out there, and coaches will tell you often the numbers are exaggerated. That I had one prominent coach tell me a year ago. Now things have changed over the past year. People are asking for more money. My understanding is people are getting more money. There's more money available for prospects because now, basically everybody understands, like it or not, this is the way the world works.
Right.
I had one coach a year ago tell me, whatever number you hear about a prospect, cut it in half and then cut it in half again. That's what he said.
Okay.
But that was a year ago, and again, a lot of things have changed. But ultimately, I'll put it this way. You might not have to outbid Louisville, or if Kentucky gets back involved, Kentucky, to get Jayden Quaintance, but you can't get blown out of the water with an offer. Like if one of those schools is quite literally offering a 2-year, $2 million package in NIL, you can't come back and say, well, how about 1 year at $300,000? Like that, I don't care how much your dad likes Penny Hardaway.
Right.
This is like a business deal. Like this is a job. Think of it as any other job. Like most people right now, if they are entering the workforce, they have things that they prioritize over others. Where is this job at? Where am I going to be able to live? Who am I working with? Who am I working for? All of those things matter. You know what is largely the most important thing for people entering the workforce? Who's going to pay me the most money?
Yep.
That is usually what it comes down to. Not always, but typically. And so you just have to think about basketball, football, baseball players, any college athletes. Think about them that way now. Don't think about them in any sort of traditional sense. Think about them as young people entering the workforce. That's what they're doing. And you might not have to outbid everybody, but you're going to have to be comparable because very few people are going to leave significant amounts of money on the table just because, they like your facilities or your playing style or anything like that. So as always, we'll see where it goes. And I'll have Jason Munz here in the next segment to provide some more context for the situation. But there was some thought as recently as this time yesterday, at least in industry circles, that, Memphis can get involved because it's Penny, because it's Memphis, because they do have NIL money. But ultimately, you're probably just driving up the price for an Arkansas, Kentucky, Louisville. And maybe that's still true. We'll see. But significant development last night when it is reported that Arkansas's out. And a visit that was supposed to be set up with Kentucky either got delayed or canceled. And there are reputable recruiting analysts who believe this is now down to Louisville and Memphis. So that's a little more of a fair fight. At least you got, hey, it's us or it's, let's.
I'd be encouraged.
Yeah.
Louisville, it's a new regime, right?
Yeah, but it's Louisville.
That's true.
And they have tons of money and, an energetic coach and, he gets in front of you.
Yeah, you can kickstart this thing. I get it.
Yeah. But also he visited Louisville, did not commit while he was there. The dad told Jason Munz, we're going to Memphis this weekend. That's the plan. And when Munz asked him, do you have a timetable? They said, no, not really. But if it feels right this weekend, they could commit this weekend.
Okay.
So
So we got to roll out the red carpet.
If you got one, get it.
Get that red carpet out.
Get that red carpet out. Jayden Quaintance planning to come to town this weekend, and his father at least acknowledges there's a chance he could commit to the University of Memphis before he leaves town. Meantime, University of Memphis is still looking for an athletic director. Of course they are. Laird Veach just announced officially to Missouri earlier this week. Jeff Crane is the interim AD there. And it's interesting column from Mark Giannotto, commercialappeal.com. Did you read this? Did you see the headline?
I did.
Headline was, Memphis' next athletic director should be its first black athletic director. Do you agree?
Oh, so I read the column. He's obviously taken some heat from certain circles.
Did he? I'm unaware.
Oh, yeah, of course. Because the headline's polarizing.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I guess
and so you have a certain faction that when they see that headline and don't read the story at all are immediately going to go insane. I mean, that's just that's how the internet works these days.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
I imagine there's people out there who say, because this is pretty...
Best candidate for the job.
All right. Just get the best candidate for the job, whether he's white, black, purple, yellow. People always like to throw in purple,
which
and
I
yellow,
subscribe to. I think they should get the best candidate for the job.
I fundamentally,
Yes.
Here's one where I struggle with this. If I'm just being completely honest, I struggle with this because I fundamentally believe in best person for the job.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're hiring somebody who's the best person for this job, regardless of what they look like or where they're from or any of those types of things. But I also understand diversity is wildly important, particularly in a city like this, particularly on a campus like that. Like one of the things, our oldest son went to Lausanne, and one of the things I loved about Lausanne is the diversity at that school. They were around people, my oldest son was around people who didn't look like him, who didn't come from the same places as him, who didn't grow up in the same neighborhood or in the same way. And I really think that's important. One of the things, like my younger kids, they go to a different school. And we love it just the same, but it's very different. And one of the things I don't like about it is that almost all the kids look exactly like my kids and come from neighborhoods exactly like my neighborhood. And I'm not a big fan of that, right? But then, just anything else, you weigh the pros and cons, and we're happy with where they're at. Yeah. But I'd like for that school to be a little more diverse. I'm not in charge of it, though. But that is an issue. I think diversity is important in the workplace. I think it's important in schools. I think it's just important in general. But then I always come back to, but I still, at the end of the day, I want to hire the best person for the job. And perhaps, tie goes to the runner situation. I'm open to that. But I'm not a big believer in hiring inferior candidates over superior candidates based off anything other than the ability to do the job I'm trying to fill. So I guess I didn't see the backlash that Mark was dealing with.
And obviously the story is a little more nuanced than the headline.
But I'm not surprised by it because it's an easy thing for people to push back on.
Onto,
and
right.
It's they do it on cable news every night. I gather.
Right. Yes.
I gather.
There's a whole industry.
There's a whole industry
built,
built around it. So I think the thing that is perfect here, or perhaps not perfect, but advantageous for, let's say, if Mark genuinely, and I trust that he does, holds that opinion. Well, here's the good news. There are competent black candidates for this job. People with real connections to the city, people with real connections to that campus, people who have worked on that campus, whether it's Mark Allnut at Buffalo, Tim Duncan at New Orleans. Like, I know these men, and I know them to be competent, gifted college administrators. So I really do think we're in a situation where, yes, I think Memphis' next athletic director will probably be the school's first black athletic director. But I don't think it will be because that has to be the priority. Yeah. I think that one of the candidates for this job, the one who emerges as the best candidate for this job, could also just happen to be a black man or a black woman, and they'll show themselves to be the best candidate for the job. They'll get the job, and then we will make history. That type of thing is important. But Memphis has gone down this path before in a different way, in a different job, and it was
I know where you're going.
It was a disaster. Do you remember that one? You were too young to remember it?
No, go ahead. Tell me.
Larry Finch, when they fired Larry Finch.
Oh, yeah. I'm not too young to remember that. That's not what I was thinking.
What were you thinking of?
I was thinking of the Larry Porter era.
No. That was not. That was actually, the Larry Porter thing was a lot like the Kenny Payne thing, in the sense that I don't think Memphis felt like it needed to hire a black football coach. I think Memphis, there was an alum
that
who was
recruiting,
the greatest recruiter in SEC and one of the best assistant coaches in the country, and like, he looked like an ideal candidate. And then you got him and you just realized
it was bad.
He's an assistant, not a head coach. But I don't think that was motivated by race at all. I think they genuinely thought they were hiring the right guy for the job, regardless of anything else. Just got it wrong.
Yeah. With Larry, you're coming off scandal.
Well, no, with Larry, it was just it was very divisive. Firing Larry Finch, the black head coach of the University of Memphis, and the administration felt like they had to replace him with another black head coach. And so the candidates were, the serious candidates were nothing but black men. Ricardo Patton, I think they couldn't get that one done. So then they ended up hiring Tick Price. But at the exact same time, there was a young coach at Tulsa, or Oral Roberts rather, who was interested in the job, and he couldn't get a serious interview for the job, even though he was interested for the job. And that same offseason, he ended up moving from Oral Roberts to Tulsa.
Mm-hmm.
So, in theory, if he'd have been offered the Memphis job or the Tulsa job, which one do you think he would have taken?
Memphis, for sure.
For sure,
Yep.
right? You know who it was?
Who?
Bill Self.
Oh, goodness.
Now, in fairness, you would have probably lost him to Kentucky or Kansas or something like that
eventually.
someday.
Yeah.
But I will forever believe they could have hired Bill Self in March of 1997. And I've talked to Bill about it.
He got his revenge.
He has never said, I definitely would have taken Memphis as offered, but he has said he was interested. And what we know is that he ended up taking Tulsa that same offseason. So, let's just do the,
Right.
Would you really take Tulsa over Memphis? I don't think so. So he probably would have taken the Memphis job. But they didn't even seriously consider him, even though he was interested in the job, because they felt like they were boxed in and they needed to replace a black head coach with a black head coach. I don't think that's the type of thing they're doing right now. I don't think they feel like they must do that. I think what they probably know is they have some competent and capable black candidates for this athletic director's job, and this might be the right time and in the right moment to make history on that campus and have a black man or a black woman lead that athletic department. I do think we'll get there. And I don't want to start ranking candidates because I do not know everybody who is going to pursue this job and be considered for this job. But I do know some of them. And the people I know who fall under this umbrella, I'd be very comfortable with them leading my alma mater.
Nice.
Very comfortable with them leading my alma mater. I hope one of them gets that opportunity. I'll talk to Jason Munz next.
This is an actual good shoe.
Yeah, it looks like
this
a good
is a
shoe.
real good shoe.
What you think about him, KJ? She likes Cheetos.
Like Cheetos?
Yeah,
You
or
like
nay.
Cheetos?
Like Cheetos?
For kids, yeah or nay.
That's what I mean. For kids,
For kids,
1,000%.
Yeah.
And honestly, if I was still playing basketball, I played in brightly colored shoes. I wore pink shoes a lot of the time, or purple shoes. I like that. The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Heart Royal Flush Tour 2024. November 14th, FedEx Forum. A journey through the hits and timeless classics. The iconic band returns with special guests. Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Tickets on sale now at heart-music.com. Heart with Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Produced by AEG Presents. Justin Timberlake. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Today we have two very special guests on our program, introducing Lem and Lime.
Hello.
For Starry Lemon Lime Soda.
Thanks for having us.
What is Starry Lemon Lime Soda?
It's a crisp, clear burst of lemon lime flavor, and it's caffeine-free.
Between us, one of you must be a little more important to Starry than the other. Who is it?
We're both important.
So it could just as easily be Starry Lime Lemon Soda.
No, that doesn't sound right.
Ooh, I like it.
So you saying hip-hop could be hop-hip?
Works for me.
Starry Lemon Lime Soda. Starry hits different.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Built Ford Tough studio, and I'm joined now by Jason Munz, who, of course, covers Penny Hardaway's Tigers for the Commercial Appeal. You can read him commercialappeal.com. If you're not subscribed, you're missing out on incredible University of Memphis coverage. Jason Munz, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for your time. Let's start with the big news. You talked to Jayden Quaintance's father yesterday. He confirmed that Arkansas is out and other reports seem to suggest that right now it's down to Memphis and Louisville. He's already visited Louisville, scheduled to visit Memphis this weekend. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, I mean, I had a really nice conversation with Jayden Quaintance, and it was pretty illuminating, I thought. Like, I asked him about, I mean, we'll address the sort of the elephant in the room at this point. I asked him about the NIL stuff that was being bandied about, the figures that are sort of being thrown out there about how they're asking for somewhere in the neighborhood of $1.5 to $2 million for in NIL opportunities, and basically he didn't really want to get into the specifics of those NIL numbers, but he did say, which I thought was pretty interesting, although I don't know what I necessarily would have expected him to say, but nonetheless, he said that NIL opportunities are not the deciding factor, that playing style, fit, playing time, all those sorts of things, like player development, all those sorts of things are more important to Jayden. And at this point, and probably the way he phrased the development side of it was the development aspect of it. He said that's probably the separator. So, and he talked Penny Hardaway up really quite a bit, going so far as to say, and I'm paraphrasing here, that nobody does player development better than Penny Hardaway. So it's intriguing. It certainly is very intriguing.
I'll take him at his word that NIL opportunities will not be the, quote, determining factor, but it is a factor. Like, you're not getting this young man for $50,000. Do we believe that Memphis can match Louisville dollar for dollar if that's what it takes?
I'm not sold on that. And the reason why I say that is because I believe, my gut tells me that what he's asking for is as much or more than what Memphis was working with this past season in NIL dollars. And so I feel like, obviously with the news last week with FedEx and that sort of infusion that a lot of Memphis athletic programs are going to get, that's going to change things for men's basketball pretty significantly, I would think, moving forward, at least for the next 5 years. But yeah, if Memphis is going to go down that road, I think it's kind of shaky. It's touchy. You got a 16-year-old guy here, 16-year-old player. No matter where he goes, when he gets on their campus, he's going to be 16 years old. He doesn't turn 17 until July. So you're talking about committing an extremely large sum of money to such a young player who's never played a single second at the college level. I mean, this is nothing against Jayden Quaintance. He's an incredibly talented basketball player, but I don't know. If it was me, I'd be worried about the message that it sends, and I'd be worried also about balancing the checkbook at the end of the week.
Well, that's an interesting perspective, because I think on a surface level, anytime you hear about a 5-star top 10 prospect you can get involved with, and he is so young, as you've reported, and others, he's not eligible for the NBA draft until 2026. So this is a young man you could, in theory, get for 2 years. And
right.
All of that sounds wonderful, but is it a wise investment? You do have in theory, a defined amount of money you're dealing with here. And is it really wise to spend this amount of money on one player who is very, very young? Because what we're finding out year after year these days is that the young players, the freshmen, aren't impacting the sport as much as the older guys. And then, Memphis has gone through this locker room chemistry stuff before, and you wouldn't want to invite more of that.
Yeah, I mean, if he's Precious Achiuwa or Jalen Duren,
right,
bring it on.
Yeah.
But you don't know that. You know what I mean? Like, you can't predict that. And then, you got to worry about what is that if you bring someone, and I'm not just saying it's Jayden Quaintance, he just happens to be the one we're talking about, but if you bring someone like that in, What does it do for, do the work that you've done up to this point? Does it sort of like, do people leave? People that you've brought in, that you've gotten commitments from, that sort of thing. Do people leave because of this? Not suggesting that they would, but just just saying that that's a possibility. And the other thing is, I guess, it's kind of an unanswerable question at this point, whether it's worth bringing someone like this, who's you're talking about the money and stuff, again, if he turns out to be Jalen Duren or Precious Achiuwa, then yes, you absolutely do it, but you just don't know. And the other part of it is you don't know what else you don't know how else the roster is gonna. There's still several other spots that they have to address. But I could argue it both ways. Jayden Quaintance fills a need. He's a big body, and they need those right now. And he projects to be a very impactful player. Who can do a lot of different things, and so he certainly would fill a big void that they currently are facing right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, though.
When it is reported that Arkansas is out, I think that's a bit of a surprise because he had signed to play for John Calipari at Kentucky. Other players who signed to play at Kentucky for John Calipari are going to already have followed him to Arkansas. Obviously, once upon a time, players followed him from Memphis to Kentucky, but Jayden Quaintance apparently is not going to do that. Do we know whether that's an Arkansas decision that this thing stopped or a Quaintance decision that this thing stopped?
No, I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't seen anyone nail that part of it down, but I think the thing that I've learned, or the thing that my takeaway from what's transpired over the past few days, ever since I think it was last week that Jayden reopened his recruitment and was granted his release from the NLI. I think that, at least again, my takeaway is that there's just a lot of confusion going on right now with this, with Jayden Quaintance's recruitment. When I talked to his dad yesterday, right around lunchtime, we talked about Memphis, we talked about Louisville a little bit. I asked him about other visits, and he said that there might be one or two after Memphis. I asked him to name those programs if he wanted to name them, and he declined. So it feels like there's a lot of confusion just kind of around this whole thing. It seemed like it was a surprise, as you mentioned, that they sort of like separated from Cal when they did. And then there was the report yesterday that came out that Mark Pope was going to be doing an in-home visit with him, and then a few hours later he wasn't going to be doing an in-home visit with him. So it's just like there's this it's all fluid, no matter who you are, but this seems to be extra fluid and a little bit extra confusing.
Let's talk about what else Penny Hardaway has been able to do so far in recruiting to remake this roster. Every coach in America, not every, but lots, it's a year-to-year thing now for most programs. Obviously, the biggest name recently, Tyrese Hunter, Texas transfer. Just what are your thoughts on what Penny Hardaway has accomplished so far in the transfer portal?
Well, so getting PJ Haggerty, I think, is huge. He was 15th in the country in scoring last year, and he does a lot of things really, really well. He was like top 10 in the country in free throw rate. The only person who attempted more free throws in the country than PJ Haggerty this past season was Zach Edey. That's pretty good. A guy who can impact the game on offense, even when he's having an off night, is pretty valuable. So PJ Haggerty was the first one they got. Colby Rogers was, I think, second or third. But, this is a guy, Colby Rogers from Wichita State, who has shot the three-point ball really, really well everywhere he's been. His worst season at the division, he's played three different teams, 4 different years. His worst season from three was 32.5%. That's pretty good. So But more recently, you mentioned Tyrese Hunter from Texas. The same day they got him, they also got the George Mason point guard, Baraka Okaje, I believe is how it's pronounced. I talked to him yesterday, and he helped me out with that. Okaje. With those two guys, you are getting, that sort of bulldog mentality that Penny Hardaway said he was missing much of this past season. They don't have these eye-popping necessarily like steals numbers. They both get their steals, but they're more just these dogged on-ball defenders that Penny Hardaway spoke so much about lacking this past season. I don't know that I'd put them in the same breath as Alex Lomax necessarily, but I think they're close. And not only on defending guys who average about 10, 12 points a game, guys who distribute the ball and make plays for others around them. They've demonstrated that. The big thing that I think people aren't talking about enough when they're talking about Tyrese Hunter is what a winner he's been. Yeah. He was at Iowa State the first year they get to the Sweet 16. His very next year he goes to Texas. They get to the Elite Eight. This past season with Texas, they get to the NCAA tournament. They're one and done, but still, he's been to March every year he's been in college, and 2 of those years he's made deep runs. So I think that's big. I think that's really big.
Obviously, David Jones is going through the pre-draft process, but maintaining his college eligibility, there's at least a chance he could return to Memphis next season. How likely do you think that is?
How likely do I think it is, or how likely does the program think it is? I mean,
both.
I think the program is still very optimistic. Penny said toward the end of the season that he gave himself a 70-30 chance to get David back. I think he still feels that way. I'm leaning more toward him returning than not returning, but I don't think 70-30 is where I'm at necessarily. I think if my gut tells me that if David Jones goes and works out for people and gets, I'm not sure he'll get drafted, but I think I could see a scenario where this plays out the same way the Lester Quinones situation did, where if he gets a two-way, he gets offered a two-way deal, he's going to take it and go. But that remains to be seen. He hasn't worked out for anybody just yet. We'll talk to some people once he starts doing that. Once the word starts getting around about what things are looking like for him. But at this stage on April 24th, I would still say it's better than a 50% chance that he is back, but probably not much more than that.
And talking to Jason Munz. Last thing before I let you go, Memphis Athletic Director Laird Veach headed to Missouri. Memphis now has to replace him. You guys had a list of candidates, commercialappeal.com. Your colleague, Mark Giannotto, wrote a column suggesting that Memphis' next athletic director should be its first black athletic director. There's obviously some accomplished and capable candidates with ties to Memphis. Mark Allnut at Buffalo, Tim Duncan at New Orleans, others as well. Is it too early to know what direction this thing is going, or do you have a sense for who the next athletic director of Memphis might be?
I like our list that we put out. Mark Allnut was on it. You mentioned Tim Duncan as well, who played with Penny back in the 90s, and also worked at the university at one point. He's the athletic director right now at the University of New Orleans. Jeff Crane, obviously he's been named the interim, and he was sort of right there with Laird Veach almost every step of the way. Everything that was that Laird Veach accomplished as athletic director, Jeff Crane was right there with him. So I think he should get a really close, he will get a legitimate shot at that job, I think. And so as far as the timing, I think that I thought Bill Hargrave's statement that he put out yesterday was at least kind of telling. He said that the way it was phrased was something like, we're going to weigh our options over the next few weeks. So something tells me kind of reading between the lines on that one that might be about as long as it takes. So I think that they are going to move pretty quickly on this. Alan Green is another name, who's a former Auburn athletic director, former Buffalo athletic director. I want to say he hired Nate Oates at Buffalo. I want to say that. So yeah, there's all really strong candidates, and I think they're going to move pretty quickly on it.
That is Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal. He's on X at Munzley, and of course you can read him every day, commercialappeal.com. That's commercialappeal.com. I appreciate your time, buddy. I can't wait to see you.
Always good to chat, GP.
All right, brother. I appreciate it. That's Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal. He's on Twitter at Munzley. That's at Munzley. So the David Jones situation, here's an interesting one. If you really, if we genuinely believe you're going to have to go $1 million to get Jayden Quaintance.
Yep.
Would that money be better spent on David Jones?
It's a fair question.
Who would be the better college basketball player next year? I don't think there's any question.
I think it would definitely be David Jones. Now, the other side of that, and listen, I want David Jones back. Don't get it twisted what I'm about to say. This team was not good, and they underachieved big time with him being their best player. I'm just putting that out there. So does it behoove them to try something different? I don't know. Or does he come back in a completely different situation? The chemistry's way better with the team, and that was just a fluke last year.
Well, before they were bad with him as their best player, they were really
good with him as their best player. You're right. You're right.
But I hear you. I just that's you wonder because this stuff is kind of this ain't secrets. Memphis is suddenly involved with a 5-star prospect,
right?
Who is asking for a lot of money. The dad can say it's not a determining factor, but all the reporting is this is a money deal.
Yep.
It's a money deal.
Yep.
It might not be the determining factor. Again, I'll take the man at his word. But if somebody's showing up with $1 million and you showing up with $200,000, you ain't getting that done.
Yep.
So this is going to be expensive.
Yep.
If you're David Jones and he's going to be aware of this.
Absolutely.
Does that make you go, hey, whoa?
It's also hard for me to just to say which one I think is the better situation because you look at the 2 seasons that we went to the NCAA tournament. One season with 5 stars, with highly touted recruits. The other season with transfers and guys that have college basketball experience. So I don't really know,
and to be clear, you might not actually be picking between these two things.
Sure.
I agree with Munz. I'd be surprised if David Jones got selected, but I could very easily envision a scenario where he hears what he needs to hear to become a professional. Hey, we're not going to pick you, but we will sign you to a 2-way at X amount of dollars, and he will know that the very worst case scenario is he'll have a 2-way with the Nuggets or whatever.
Yeah.
I think he'll have and those things are those are real contracts.
Yeah.
I think he'll hear what he needs to hear to become a professional.
I do too.
I mean, 6'6".
That's the thing.
He made shot. He was a high volume 3-point shooter who made them at a good rate this year. He can bounce it. He can guard his position.
Yeah, all due respect to Lester, who's done really nice for himself with Golden State. If he can get a 2-way, I would think a guy like David Jones could get a 2-way.
I think he'll hear not exactly what he wants to hear, because what does he want to hear? Your first round pick. I don't think he's going to hear that, but I think he'll hear enough to make him go, yeah, this is probably the thing to do, is to pursue a professional career with the worst case scenario being a 2-way contract with some NBA franchise. I bet you that's on the table for him. So. And those are hard to turn down to come back to college, unless somebody is really throwing crazy money at you. And Memphis clearly has more money than it previously had, and enough money to get into a recruiting battle with some of the biggest swingers in the sport for a 5-star prospect. But do you have enough money to do everything you need to do?
Yeah.
That's the question.
And that's the thing, too, with the 2-ways is the G League likes guys like David Jones. Yeah. Great college basketball players. Yeah. They like that.
Well, you
look around the G League now.
Well, yeah,
there's a lot of them.
Yeah, you go down to Landers Center, and every game you're just looking there, and it's oh wow, can't believe he's here.
Yep.
I mean, it's guys who are like I was down there maybe last home game, and there were 2 different players for the team the Hustle were playing that were previous number 1 high school players in their entire classes. And they were just like there playing in the Lander Center in front of 200 people. Shabazz Muhammad was one of them, and Scal Lavicia was the other. Like they were both ranked number 1 in their class by various recruiting in there. The league is filled with those guys.
Yes.
I used to, before I was taking direct flights from Memphis to LaGuardia and LaGuardia back to Memphis, I would typically have to go through Atlanta. And so I'm traveling through Atlanta twice a week during basketball season. And I would often see G League teams, traveling.
Yeah.
Through the airport. And you would just, it's like, oh, wow, he was a 3rd-team All-American 3 years ago.
Right.
And now he's sitting in 37D. It's a different life.
Yeah.
Now he's sitting in 37D, getting ready to go play in front of nobody, not on television. And like 3 years ago, he was playing on Big Monday for Kansas in Allen Fieldhouse, sold out. Like I don't know, it's the most enjoyable basketball experience, but some of those guys do make real money, on these 2-way contracts. Lester does.
Yep.
And I think David Jones will probably find himself in a situation where he hears enough to pursue a professional career, but maybe not. And obviously, you start adding a Tyrese Hunter, a PJ Haggerty. If you get Jayden Quaintance and David Jones, now you got some.
Yeah.
Right. We got some. Either way, it looks like on paper they're gonna be the preseason favorite probably in the AAC. Certainly up there pretty high.
Of course.
I mean, Dusty May's no longer there. Florida Atlantic's not coming over after coming off of a Final Four. There ain't much else in the league. But if this thing, starts to pop a certain way, you add the 5-star freshman, you bring back David Jones, you start putting together projected starting lineups, and you can go, okay, this looks pretty good. Maybe this is top 25 worthy. I don't know that we'll get there, but I could see it if you get 2 big decisions to go your way in the coming days or weeks or months. We come back, turn our attention, NBA playoffs. Night 4 of the 2024 NBA playoffs. They were held last night. Minnesota whipped the Phoenix Suns again. Is it over, Bennett? He's on the wrong side of it again.
I know.
Is it over? Those other 2 series that played last night, both tied 1-1. Luka, killer.
Oh, yeah.
Fun night. I stayed up for all of it. Did you stay up for all of it?
I did.
I don't know why I did.
I don't either.
I don't know why I did that, but I did. We'll talk NBA playoffs next. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South.
Now for a limited time, the new $1.99 crispy tender wraps are here at Sonic. Who could deny a crispy chicken tender with bold flavors like hickory barbecue and cheesy Baja? And we can't forget the crisp lettuce and melty cheese to make the perfect bite. Wrap yourself up with some TLC, tender, love, and chicken for only $1.99. Sonic $1.99 crispy tender wraps. Tax not included, limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Are you a healthcare professional looking for a new experience? Look no further than Travel Nurses, Inc. Our extensive network of healthcare facilities across the country offers you the opportunity to discover new destinations while pursuing your passion. We provide competitive compensation, flexible contracts, and dedicated assistance. So join our community of nurses and allied health professionals and start your next adventure today. Visit our website at travelnursesinc.com for more information.
LifeCare Ambulance is proud to be an official partner of the Memphis Grizzlies and FedEx Forum. At LifeCare, they wear their hearts with pride. Their passion is their people. They want you to love what you do and where you do it. Their employee-driven culture encourages a healthy work-life balance and supportive work environment. They invest in your success and well-being so that you can provide the best care for the patients that they serve. Join the incredible team of EMTs and paramedics in Memphis, Nashville, and across the nation today. Learn more at lifecareamb.com.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays and the evenings and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you, even me. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's OrthoSouth at orthosouth.org. Big Bet Bennett, do you know? I'm already on the mend. It no longer hurts to get out of bed.
Oh, those steroids? You still taking? Did you eat some steroids for breakfast?
Yeah, but I need to start reading the directions. I was telling you the truth yesterday when I told you that I ate 6 steroid pills for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out I should not have done that.
Well, that sounded a little
aggressive.
Extreme, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought so. That's why I was like, how are you even sitting there?
My mother texted me last night, and she was like, I don't think you're supposed to take all 6 at the same time.
No, man.
And I said, don't worry about it.
You didn't feel weird?
I felt strong.
You just felt jacked up?
Just felt jacked and strong. So this morning I decided, I was like, Mom, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I'm going to die, it ain't going to be off steroid pills. That's the least of your worries.
Right.
And but then I said, you know what? Mothers do often know best. So perhaps I should read the directions. Like maybe she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
She did. She knew exactly what she was talking about. I read them today. You know what it said to do today? I got 5 more today.
Yeah, spread them out every couple hours.
Yeah, only have one before breakfast. So I did, but I'm only on 1 steroid pill right now.
Gotcha.
But it no longer hurts to get out of bed.
That's good. That's a plus.
I was able to throw a ball with my boy yesterday.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Have you been able to play catch yet? Or is that coming?
We're working on catch.
Yeah.
We're working on catch.
It's kind of a sweet thing.
It is. Noah, we're struggling. I'm like, dude, keep your eye on the ball. It's not going to hit you in the face.
Yeah.
Like, stop it.
I mean, it might hit him in the face.
No, it does. And we're like, at first we're using like little like the tennis paddle things, that, like the Velcro.
Of course.
Yeah, and I like purposely hit him in the face
How old
with
is
it.
he now?
He's 5.
Okay, yeah, this is perfect age.
Yeah, I purposely hit him in the face with it just to like show it doesn't hurt. Dude.
One of my
It's just a
earliest
tennis ball.
memories of it's weird how you have these memories, but there was a bad rough baseball field kind of like in our neighborhood. Like we lived on the corner, and my uncle lived on the same street down the way, and in between our houses there was a baseball field.
Yeah,
and it was rough. It wasn't like you weren't at Bush Stadium. But it was, they had a backstop in dirt and stuff. And so we would go up there and, we practiced baseball as a kid. And one of my earliest memories is, taking ground balls. I was an infielder. Had good hands.
Mm-hmm.
Small hands, but good. And, ball hit a rock or something. Boom, pop, hit me in the lip. Swollen, like bad, right? Crying, of course. You know what my dad made me do? Get right back out there. We'll look at it. It's swollen. Nothing we can do now. We're taking more ground balls. And you know what his theory was? If you walk out of here now, you're going to be scared of ground balls. We're going to have to undo all that. That was just a bad hop. It's not indicative of anything other than that. Let's not get scared of this baseball. You got to take one in the face every once in a while, Bennett.
You got to.
You got to take one in the face. You know what? Here's the truth. Get tennis balls. Get them comfortable catching tennis balls because they won't hurt.
That's what we're doing.
Them.
We're doing the tennis balls right now.
That's the way to do it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. You're on the right track.
I'm trying my best.
Yeah. I couldn't swing I don't think I could swing a baseball bat, nor would I try. Don't think I could do that right now. So I'm still a little delicate, but I'm getting better.
Good.
Shouts to Ortho South.
Shout out.
Can't wait to take some more steroids today.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have.
If you got any extra?
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I have
I'll take some steroids.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Okay, good. So like,
I don't think I get in trouble for that. No, I'm not. Yeah.
No. I'm going to keep taking them until I feel 100%. But on the off chance that I feel 100%,
give me the leftovers.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm going to give you the leftovers.
I'm trying to get like that.
Yeah. Look, flex. Get strong.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, man. What if we're both on steroids? We'll be the strongest show at Grind City Media.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's take steroids for breakfast every day.
Damn yes.
Yeah.
We deserve that.
Let's hit up Ortho South so we can get a big supply in here.
Yeah, can we get
Cool.
I mean, I think that might be
That's getting a little
but like
in a weird
how about
space.
this?
Yeah, got it.
I know people who work in medical sales.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, sounds good.
Hey, we figured out more difficult things than this, haven't we?
Yes.
We'll figure it out.
All right.
Let's do 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
NBA playoffs continued last night. It wasn't as good as Monday night,
It wasn't.
but it was fine.
I had a good time.
Your Timberwolves won again, but the problem with that is that you took the Suns plus the points.
Man.
Why'd you do that?
I don't know. I thought I was going to. They're done. They're done. They're done. That experiment has failed.
Like, they're not just done in this series. Like, it's like, we can't take you seriously.
No, because, like, I mean, they could.
Like this whole idea of the big three, they're going to do it. We can't take you seriously.
See,
not only you're not going to do it this season, you ain't going to do it.
And that's the problem. You have so much money invested in those 3 guys, and then you look at it last night. It's like Minnesota's starting 5 is like as good as it gets in the NBA right now. Like, that starting 5 is solid across the board. You look at Phoenix, and you look at outside of those 3 guys, like, where are you getting contributions from? Yeah.
How do you make it better?
Yeah, and how do you make it better going
if
forward?
If you're committed to those 3, how do you make it better?
Right.
I don't know.
It's like those 3 guys have to go big for them to be competitive in this series, and I don't know if you're going to get nights where all 3 of them are just cooking.
Kevin's got his championships, and he's got his MVP. He's cemented his legacy as a top 10 to 15 player of all time, one of the best scorers of all time. But when he won his second finals MVP and second championship, I can't imagine he thought his career would unfold after that the way it's unfolded.
Mm-hmm.
Lost years in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Nothing in Phoenix. Multiple injuries. This just might be like all the great stuff that Kevin Durant might accomplish. He's probably already accomplished it.
Yeah, I saw someone say last night that this could be the last time we see LeBron, KD, and Steph competing for NBA championships. And I'm like, it is starting to trend that way at this point.
I would never count out LeBron just because he can manipulate the entire
league.
Thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Like LeBron James could watch the Knicks.
Yeah, he picks his roster, right.
And just say, you know what, I'm going to New York. You guys sign Bronny, I'll come take a minimum contract, and let's see if we can win a championship in New York. Like, I'm not ruling anything out with him, but the Steph thing, it does feel like if they're gonna if he wants to win another title, he might have to say, you got to send me somewhere else.
Yeah,
and
or you blow it up and have a couple years of a rebuild with him still there. I don't,
it's tough.
Right.
That's tough because I don't know that he can go through a rebuild and still, like, by the time you get and by the way, these whole blow it up and rebuild things, like, the idea behind it,
it sounds good.
It's always like,
right.
yeah, and then in 3 years we'll be ready to go.
Right.
But
right.
the Orlando Magic been saying that for 30 years.
Right.
It's like the whole blow it up and then we'll get lottery picks and then we'll be back. Like, it doesn't work all the time. It doesn't even work that often. So I don't know if I think you got to, rather than blow it up, like, try to be as good as you can be in this moment with Steph Curry, with LeBron James, and with Kevin Durant to try to maximize it. But none of those situations are easy fixes now. And yeah, I think it's certainly possible that we will never see any of those all-time greats in the NBA Finals again. Certainly possible. Elsewhere last night, Pacers went into Milwaukee, beat them bad. And then Mavericks go win in L.A. Luka, awesome down the stretch. So those other 2 series are both tied 1-1. That's at least interesting, right?
Yeah. Pacers Bucks is difficult to get into
because you don't have Giannis. Right. You don't know if you ever will.
Right.
And who cares about the Pacers outside of people in Indiana?
Right. But no, the last one, dude, I still stand on. I think Luka's the best player in the league.
I think it's Nikola Jokic.
I know.
But Luka's awesome.
And I think the majority of people think that.
He's awesome. He is undeniably awesome.
Yeah.
And, the type of guy who you can see carrying a franchise, deep into the playoffs, perhaps even all the way to the NBA Finals. The Nuggets, if healthy, look like clearly they're just going to be, you ain't beating them 4 times in a 7-game series as long as they're healthy. But in this sport, you never know who's going to be healthy
That's
from
right.
one game to the next. And unlike football, where you hear about a random defensive lineman or a random receiver going down, it doesn't change the whole complexion of a team in that sport. Unless it's a quarterback, you kind of got the, one player doesn't make that big of a difference in the NFL unless it's the quarterback. But in the NBA, like, you can just have one guy go down with an ankle or a shoulder and it could change the entire everything connected to your franchise. And so Denver, like everybody else, is always at risk of that. But as long as they're healthy, they look like the team to beat. But, Luke and Kyrie, those are two of, I know Kyrie's pretty divisive and not everybody loves him for a variety of reasons, but he's a hell of a basketball player.
Right.
He's a hell of a basketball player. So Mavericks win last night, even that series at 1-1. So Pacers now have home court advantage over the Bucks going forward. It's now essentially a best of 5 with the Pacers having home court advantage. Same thing, Mavericks, Clippers, now basically a best of 5 with the Mavericks suddenly having home court advantage.
Number 2.
Reggie Bush is getting his Heisman Trophy back.
How about that?
Isn't that nice?
Long time coming.
Long time coming.
Yep.
Better late than never. Better late than never. It was always silly.
Yes.
Who are you? Stop it.
No.
You think Reggie Bush is the only Heisman Trophy winner who ever compromised his amateur status? Come on.
No, not even close.
Not even close. You know what? There might be 0 Heisman Trophy winners who have, never compromised their amateur status. We know Johnny Manziel did.
Yes.
And I wonder if Johnny Manziel played a role in this. Because Johnny Manziel announced earlier this year, I love my Heisman Trophy, cherish it. But if Reggie Bush can't have his, I don't think I deserve mine.
Yeah, I saw him talking about it this morning, and saying how happy he was about that. No, I mean, dude, it's come on. Look at where the sport is now. And I respect the NCAA for acknowledging why he's getting it back.
What's the Heisman Trust?
Or the Heisman, that's what I mean. The Heisman Trust for explaining why he's getting it back, which is look at how college football's changed. Yeah.
Right now, Reggie Bush would be making more money than he made while he was at USC, and it would be celebrated as opposed to ridiculed. He would be placed on billboards and compensated heavily in a way that would all be within the rules, which there are very few of that are enforced these days. And if I were the NCAA, and perhaps they'll do this someday, you know what I would do? I would use this as a launching pad to undo all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, have you ever vacated a title? You don't have to. Hang your banners back up. Louisville, hang your national championship banner back up. Can
we get our banner back?
I would be in favor of all of that.
Heck yeah.
This is one where I've just always thought it's silly. These things happen. I don't play along with them. Some people do. Some people will say, John Calipari's only been to 4 Final Fours. That's what some people will say. I'll say, no, he's been to 6. He's been to 6. I watched all 6.
Right.
Well, 2 of them were vacated. Yeah, well, I don't care.
Right.
John Calipari has coached in 6 Final Fours. That's a fact. All right? That's a fact. I always write it that way. And every once in a while, you'd have years ago, now it's just sort of accepted. I ain't changing. I'll fight with you on this. But every once in a while, an editor would be like, well, officially John Calipari is only coached in 4 Final Fours. So should we change that? No, he is. I don't care officially. He's coached. Is this true or not? John Calipari has coached in 6 different Final Fours. Is that true or not? Of course it's true. I can show you video evidence of all 6. 1 at UMass, 1 at Memphis, 4 at Kentucky. I can show those things happen. Just because the NCAA took it out of a book or drew a line through it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Memphis was in the 1985 Final Four. I don't care if Memphis had to vacate it. Memphis was in that. That's happened. I just don't. Vacating wins. I don't see the point. Jim Boeheim has won X amount of games. Officially, it's a different number. I don't care about that other number. He's coached X amount of games. He's won those games. Yeah, but he had a player who was ineligible this year, so you had to subtract 24 wins. Well, you can subtract them if you want to. He won those games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to count them. I just never really thought it makes much sense. And if the NCAA really wanted to, for once, get a PR win, because who would argue against it? Who would argue against it if the NCAA just said, hey, Michigan, Memphis, Louisville, Kansas, anybody else who's ever had to vacate anything or lower a banner, remove a celebration, we are no longer requiring you to do that. Hang your banners proudly. Those things happened. The rules have changed. We don't care anymore. Who would argue against that? Some nerd somewhere, I'm sure. But
right.
That's all it would be.
No, nobody would.
That's all it would be. So congrats to Reggie Bush. This is the Heisman Trust righting a wrong. And perhaps the NCAA could follow their lead someday and let beautiful Final Four banners hang inside FedEx Forum.
Number 3.
Future has made history. Do you know how? Do you know why?
No. What's Future doing?
Oh, he's just starting rap wars.
Okay.
You enjoying the rap wars?
Yeah, I have been.
I love them.
Jenna put me on to one yesterday.
Who, Chris Brown?
Yeah, dude. First off, I didn't even know Chris Brown rapped. I thought he was just an R&B star.
He just decided he wanted to get involved.
This man went off, too.
Quavo decided he got to go off.
I don't think the comeback was as good as the initial.
He said you hit Ree in the face.
Well, okay, that's that. In fairness, that's a pretty good comeback. But I don't know, man. The Chris Brown one, I was like, damn, I didn't know he was like this.
The rap wars are wild.
The rap wars are going crazy right now. I can't sit here and act like that. I like know, I'm not someone you'd probably come to. Like if
I would come to you
if you want all the details on the rap wars. I don't think you would come to me, but like I'm invested. I'm here.
I'm invested.
Yeah.
I love it. I can't get enough of it. Feels like Drake is kind of getting bullied a little bit. I do. Feel like
he started it.
He always sneak dissing.
Yeah, he started it.
He's always sneak dissing. That's what they say.
Uh-huh.
That's what Ye said.
That's right.
See, now Kanye got involved in it.
I know. Yeah, he started it. Didn't he say Drake was the feds? I thought he did.
Kanye says a lot.
Oh, no, I think he said that about Diddy. Actually,
you know what?
I can't keep up, dude.
Oh, you see the latest big headline?
A lot going on.
He did an interview yesterday, the day before, past few days. You know what he said? Question was, if you and your wife, his wife Bianca.
Yes.
You're familiar with Bianca?
Yes, she's an Italian model.
Australian.
Bianca's Australian? I thought she was Italian.
Oh, Australian, Bennett.
Oh, okay.
She's from down under.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, she's from down under.
Cool.
She's basically a crocodile hunter.
That's awesome.
Okay, so I don't know if this is the type of question you would ask every man, but guy asked Kanye West. He said, "You and your wife could have a threesome. Who would you want to have a threesome with?"
Uh-oh.
That's a wild question. Do you have an answer?
What do I think he said?
What would you say?
Wait, what would I say if someone? What would my answer be?
Sure.
Who would we want to have the threesome with? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd have to consult with my wife.
Have to think about it, right? We'd have to talk about it. I don't feel like that's up to me.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's.
I don't feel like that's up to me. But you know what Kanye West said? He said he wishes it was him, Bianca,
and Kim K.
No, but that would be something.
Yes.
Michelle Obama.
Okay.
Hey, to each his own, right?
Heck yeah.
Michelle Obama. I love Michelle Obama.
That is so random.
Yeah.
It's so random.
That was a wild deal.
She was the first lady. I mean, I guess it's not that random.
She's the first lady.
Yeah.
I think more than anything, he would just like to sleep with Barack Obama's wife. I think that's the message.
That's a little aggressive.
I think so too.
Yeah, I
That's
would
not-
not have.
that's
I would
disrespectful.
not have said that.
That's disrespect. I would not have said that.
I would not have
but in
said
fairness,
that.
I mean, we could spend hours. We could spend hours discussing things that Kanye West has said that neither of us would say. Right.
Right.
It's a man who wanted to put a GoPro on his D.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Actually,
Yeah, it would be hilarious.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It would be cool. It would be. Anyway, Back to the Future.
Yeah, what did he do?
In addition to starting rap wars,
Mm-hmm.
he just became the 5th rapper of all time to secure a 10th #1 album.
Oh, wow.
On the Billboard charts.
Okay, how about that?
Trivia
He has been
time.
going. Okay, all right. Name
Trivia.
the top 10.
No. Just 4 other rappers have at least 10 number one albums.
Oh, four rappers
others.
have 10.
Future is now the 5th.
Okay, so we need longevity here.
You need longevity. That's what
longevity.
you're looking for.
All right, I'm gonna say
like Glow ain't there yet.
Kanye put out a lot of albums.
Kanye has 10 number one albums.
Yep.
Kanye West is one of the 5.
Okay, Kanye, Jay-Z.
Jay-Z is number 1 on the list. He has 14 number 1 albums.
Okay, Kanye, Jay-Z. I don't know if there's enough longevity with Tupac and Biggie. I don't think either of them are going to be on the list.
They got shot.
That's right. Yeah, neither of them are going to be on the list. Okay. Damn, dude.
You got 2 more, and they should be obvious.
They should be obvious. Kanye,
big stars is Jay. You've already got Jay-Z, Kanye, and Future.
Uh-huh.
The other 2 are big stars who have longevity. One of them we've already talked about.
Today?
Yeah. He's getting bullied.
Kendrick Lamar? No.
Kendrick doesn't have that many albums. Drake.
Oh, yeah.
Drake has 11 number 1 albums.
Okay.
So it's Jay-Z.
I acknowledge Drake's a rapper. It's just it gets because he sings
he's
too.
A pop star.
He's a pop star, right?
So it's Jay-Z at 1.
Yep.
Drake at 2.
Mm-hmm. Kanye. Who am I missing?
Kanye is tied for 3rd with 10.
It's not Lil Wayne.
It's not Lil Wayne. It's a good guess, but it's not him. One of the GOATs. That's what people say.
One of the GOATs.
Yeah.
One of the GOAT rappers.
Been seeing him in commercials with Roger Goodell all week.
I thought Lil Wayne was in the NFL commercials.
I seen this rapper in commercials with Roger Goodell all week because the NFL draft, it's in his hometown tomorrow.
Where's the draft?
Detroit.
Eminem? How about that?
10 number 1 albums.
How about that?
So there are 5 rappers now that have at least 10 number 1 albums under their belts. It is Drake, Jay-Z, Eminem, Kanye West, and Future.
That's impressive company for Future.
Impressive company.
Yeah.
And he killed Drake right in the middle of it.
That he did.
That's a hell of a deal, you know?
I don't mind it.
I don't mind it.
I don't mind it.
I don't mind. I like the rap wars.
I like it too. I'm enjoying this, I'm learning new stuff.
New stuff.
Yeah, it's good.
I learned
this
stuff.
is good stuff.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
As long as nobody gets hurt.
That's what I was gonna say.
Let's
just keep it in the lyrics, please.
Let's talk about it. Let's Instagram about it. I don't need nobody getting hurt. You know.
Right.
We don't want nobody getting hurt.
I don't think anybody will.
I hope not.
No.
I sure hope not.
I don't think anybody will. All right.
Number 4.
NFL draft tomorrow night in Detroit, as we've established.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Williams is expected to be the number 1 pick to the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
Headline, past 24 hours, one NFL general manager said the book on him is just, he's a weird guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a weird guy. Think about if Prince were the number 1 quarterback prospect in the country. That's what we're dealing with here.
Okay, but we love Prince for being weird.
We love Prince for being weird, but when you're an artist, weird can be fine. Can you? I'm being sincere here.
Yep, hit me with it.
I'm hitting you with it from an honest place. Can you be weird, whatever that means, and actually lead a football franchise? Can weirdos lead?
I'm trying to think of like examples in the NFL.
Because I will tell you, there's an NBA player who was coming out of the draft who had this not exact same.
I think I know who you're talking about too.
Who do you think I'm talking about? When I
is he a star in the NBA now? Michael Porter Jr.
No, but I did hear.
Yes,
I heard that he was weird. And like, this is not who I was thinking of, but he had this reputation. Coaches would say, or NBA people would say, who's he friends with? Like, does anybody like him? Or is he just like a good basketball player? He had that reputation. You know who also did? Trae Young.
Oh, yeah, and he kind of has that reputation now. That's right, that he's not really friends with his teammates.
I cannot tell you how many NBA
stuff.
people said he can obviously shoot, he can obviously pass. What we're concerned about is him. Is he a good teammate? Do people like him? Will people follow him? When you're spending this type of pick on a player like this, he needs to, in theory, be, the face of everything. And can you win with him? certainly he's talented enough to be great, but does he carry himself in all the other ways you need? Does he connect with people? There were real questions about that. And fast forward, the shooting is there, the passing is there. He's an electric player. But you know what people say?
Can't win.
Can't win with him. He's not really a leader, and he's not, everything with him on the court, all the defense stuff is like historically bad.
Yeah.
It just ain't happening. And some of it I do think is personality driven. And so this stuff is stuff that matters. It does matter. Again, I don't know what weird means. I mean, honestly, if I'm being honest, I think I'm weird.
I know I am.
Right. Like, I have weird characteristics and personality traits. And, so like, I don't know what weird means exactly, but the NFL general manager, the quote was, he's weird.
So one that immediately...
And it should be a concern if it's not.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. One that immediately jumps out to me, and as I'm trying to think of examples, is Russell Wilson, and he won a Super Bowl.
He did?
And he's a weird, quirky dude.
He's just kind of a nerd, though, isn't he?
Yeah, but I wouldn't necessarily say that his teammates go to bat for him.
They don't love him.
Yeah,
there's no evidence that they love him.
Right, and he won a Super Bowl. Right. So I don't know how much I necessarily buy into that. I think if you're awesome and you can help your teammates be awesome, that it doesn't really matter that much.
I tell you what, I'm going to be rooting for him.
I'm going to be rooting for him, too, because I don't like this.
I don't like this.
I don't like this.
This feels a little bit like C.J. Stroud is dumb, and Caleb Williams is weird.
Yeah, Vince Young back in the day did terrible on his Wonder Lick. That kind of stuff, I don't like that.
Why are we always hating heading into the draft?
We are always hating heading into the draft. I know it's like there's posturing involved and stuff, but this one don't sit too well with me.
It don't sit well with me
This one
either,
doesn't sit too well with me. I'm rooting for Caleb Williams.
I'm rooting for Caleb Williams to go to Chicago, be weird as he wants to be, and be an all-pro quarterback. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yep.
Go Caleb Williams, you little weirdo.
Number 5.
We got a new Dear Jane.
Yeah, speaking of weird.
This one ain't as serious. Like, it's a little lighthearted. Sometimes we get into some serious stuff. Sometimes we get into some serious stuff. I don't think this is as serious, but it's an issue.
Lee had another great example. Aaron Rodgers.
Weirdo.
Total weirdo.
Total weirdo.
Yeah, Super Bowl champ.
But
his teammates love him. They do.
That's
his teammates love him.
He's weird, but people like him.
Yep.
There's a difference between being weird and people love you and being weird and people go, man, he's weird.
Yeah, right, right.
Like we probably know people like that. Like I know weird people who are like, oh man, he's sort of quirky and it makes me laugh. And then I know weird people and I'm just like, he's just weird. Like I used to go to Starbucks. And I'd see this guy. I'd go to Starbucks. Go to the same Starbucks all the time, and I would work. And I'd sit there, and I'd see this guy all the time. He'd just sitting there. He'd just sit there all day long. Just hold a cup of coffee. Just sit there.
Yeah.
Staring off into space. That was weird.
Yeah.
I was just like, that's a weird fella. That's not like the type of weirdo that I would be like I'd find enjoyable. I don't know what's going on over here. It's just weirdo stuff.
I used to have that at the gas station I went to.
You're just a fellow always there?
He was always hanging around, and he would always come up and talk to me, and eventually I had to be like, all right, dude, you got to leave me alone.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
You're sitting in a gas station all day long. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's a wild
It
thing.
wasn't a homeless dude either.
Yeah, just hanging out.
It was just a weirdo hanging around.
Right.
He was just in the neighborhood.
By all accounts, Caleb Williams is the type of weird that is just weird, right?
Yep.
All right. And so now with this Dear Jane, we got another situation. It involves a weirdo.
Okay.
Not as serious as some of our other topics, but it's still something we got to address. Somebody decided to write Jane about it. So let's read through it and let's figure it out.
Okay.
Bennett.
Hit me with it.
All right. It's a woman. Well, if there's one thing I've learned about Dear Jane over the years, it's that most people who write Jane are women.
Yeah, that's true. Well, men, we hide our feelings. Yeah.
I try not to. I probably should hide them a little more than I do, if I'm being honest.
Same.
Probably should be a little less vulnerable.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So I might write the Jane someday. I don't know. But today it's a woman. Here's the issue. Dear Jane, that's the way they always start. One of my closest friends has invited me away on a girls' trip to Italy this summer. That sounds fun.
Sounds great.
Sounds great so far. And while it sounds like a dream vacation, There's something holding me back from pulling the trigger on confirming. The only time this friend and I have traveled together before, she drove me totally insane with her incredibly odd flying habits.
Okay.
She suffers from anxiety and has a fear of flying. So I understand entirely why she relies on these rituals, as she calls them, to get her through long plane journeys. But the idea of sitting there next to her while she's doing them for 8 odd hours is just not something I think I can handle. She continues. Now, I know you're probably thinking, how bad could this be? Trust me, it's bad. She said this woman, not only does she insist on spraying this disgusting smelling soothing mist upon taking her seat, she also meditates loudly with humming, whispers affirmations to herself, and routinely shakes her whole body to release the tension. This is all while she's sitting in the plane for the entire trip. You're right next to her. What she says is, what I'm wondering, Jane, is can I split the difference here? Can I say, yes, I'm going to go on this trip with you, but I'm taking a different flight, or I'm not sitting near you. But I cannot. I can't. I can't sit next to you for 8 hours with you acting like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. What do we do?
I think that the way she's feeling is correct, because that's insane. First off, just freaking take a Xanax. Like,
for real.
Come on.
Like, stop being crazy.
Are you serious? Who are you, Caleb Williams? Like, stop acting weird on the plane.
Yeah, stop being crazy.
I would probably say, if you're the person doing all this stuff, the girl with anxiety, you have to know that you're being not ordinary on an airplane. And so, yeah, I think if I'm the friend, the person asking Dear Jane, I think I'd approach my friend and say, I'm down to go, but like, I can't really be involved in all that. It makes me uncomfortable. Can I just like sit in a different seat?
Well, here's what this woman suggested to Jane. She's like, I'm trying to come up with a lie for why I would need to take a different flight, but it's hard because like we're from the same city. We'd be flying from the same, departure, same place. Landing same place, arrival same place. So she's thinking like, can I say, hey, yeah, go ahead. She's like, one of her ideas is, yeah, go ahead and book the trip. Go ahead and book yours. I'll book mine. Let her book hers.
Yep.
And then say, oh, something work came up. I had to change my flight. You just stay on that one. I don't want you to have to change yours. And I'll just be, a few hours behind.
That's not a bad solution.
Something like that. You know what Jane says?
What?
And this is what I agree with Jane here. You know what Jane says? This is not the type of thing you need to lie about.
No, just be honest.
This is not your best friend is 500 pounds and you have to say, I don't want to fly with you because it's uncomfortable sitting next to you because you're 500 pounds.
Right.
And how do you get through that? Because you don't want to hurt your friend's feelings.
Right.
So you have to come up with a different lie. Jane says, this is not that. This is like your friend should understand. You should be able to, if you are close enough with somebody to travel to Italy with them, you should be close enough to be able to tell them, I love you, but this shit's crazy. And I can't sit next to you with you humming and shaking. And like, seriously, if you need to drink. You need a pill, take 2.
Yep.
You need some gummies, I got them. But we're not doing all this shit. This is crazy. That's what I would do. If you and I were going to Italy
I'm being honest,
and you were that, I would tell it to you. I would be like, Bennett, if you start acting crazy, like that it's not, I'm not doing that. I'm not sitting next to you.
Dude.
Like I'm happy to let you do it on another part of the plane, on a different flight. But if you sit next to me, we're going to act normal.
Yeah. And if I'm the airline.
And if you can't act normal, you can't sit next to me.
If I'm airlines, I'm not letting people like this on planes. Like that crap that's not only is it weird, it's annoying, and like you're gonna give me anxiety.
Right,
like I'm trying to have a relaxing flight. Like I do not want to be next to that at all. I've been
like this lady is probably like in coach. In like you're like this, and there's somebody right next to her who she probably doesn't know.
Yep.
And the whole time she's
no. Like,
and she's shaking the tension out. and she's spraying mist every 5 seconds.
Oh, hell no.
No, we're done.
Don't you spray that shit around me. And the thing is, like I've been, and you have too, I've been on planes with people that have fear of flying and anxiety, and yeah, they get a little emotional and like shaky and nervous and stuff like that, which is totally fine. Like people have to fly for certain reasons, so whatever. Like I can understand that, you know, people are in a bind and they have to fly. So, and some people have fear of flying. So that's fine. Like I've seen that. I'm fine with that. It is what it is. But when you start getting all crazy and doing all these rituals and stuff like that, that's BS.
That's
like
too
get
much.
that out of here.
You're doing too much.
Yeah, you're
All
doing
right?
too much.
If this is what it takes for you to fly to Italy, doing all this shit, you can't fly to Italy then. Not with me.
Yeah, this is just vacation too.
Right,
Like,
this is not fun. It's
Just
supposed to
don't
be
go on
fun.
vacation.
This is supposed to be fun.
Yeah, take a boat. I don't know.
If getting on this plane for 8 hours makes you feel all these ways,
Yeah.
genuinely, it's not something you should do.
No.
Stay stateside.
Yeah. Yeah, go to Little Italy or something.
Just go to Little Italy.
Yeah.
Go to Little Italy.
You can't be flying overseas. I'm not trying to sit next to that. I'm
chance.
not. Don't give me anxiety.
Can't mess
Because I don't have anxiety on planes. But
Me
if I
neither.
start seeing shit like that, like,
I have no anxiety on a plane. I am most relaxed. on a plane.
I know you are. You're an anomaly though. Like if it starts getting real bumpy, I'll grip my handle a little bit. Like, oh god, are we good here?
I'm all in.
Yeah.
I assume, buddy, I'm always going to assume we're fine.
Yeah.
Up until we blow up.
I just don't like that feeling, the drop feeling when you feel in your stomach. I don't like how that feels.
I like
I can handle a little turbulence, but
I can take all the turbulence.
when we went, when you fly out of Denver, they tell you, and I didn't realize this because you're going over the mountains. There's always turbulence flying out of Denver, and so they kind of prepare you for it. They're like, all right, we're going to hit little bumps trying to get over these mountains,
Right,
and so in that situation, it's cool because I know it's coming.
Yeah,
right.
Here's the thing. My experience, turbulence is just turbulence. If you are ever actually in danger, you'll know. And it won't be because it got a little bumpy.
Right.
If you're ever actually in danger on a commercial flight, you won't have to wonder about it. If you're wondering, are we okay? You're fine.
Mm-hmm.
If you are ever actually in a catastrophic situation, you won't be wondering if you are in one. You'll know it.
Oh yeah, the pilot's going to talk to you.
Well,
the pilot's coming
or
over.
something's on fire.
Right.
Like planes don't drop out of the sky because they get bumpy. You know, that's not the way this stuff works. So you can deal with the turbulence.
That's another thing. It's like the pilots, that plane will be shaking super hard, and the pilot will just come over and be like, yeah, okay, folks, we're just going over a little turbulence.
Yeah, I mean, you
right
can
here."
always look at the flight attendants too. Like when they are not nervous.
Oh, you can tell. Yeah.
When they are not nervous, then there's no reason for you to be nervous. There has only been 2 times where I was actually like, it's getting a little dicey. And one was turbulence like this for like an hour and a half straight. We were circling New York City trying to land.
Ugh.
We could not find a window to land. It's turbulence like this. I told the story before.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many people were on the plane. Let's just, for the sake of the conversation, call it 150 on the plane. I'm not exaggerating. 75 of them threw up.
Oh,
it was bad.
I bet it smelled so bad.
It was awful. And the sound of people puking was triggering other people
to puke. Of course,
I almost puked, and it wasn't because of the turbulence. It was because of the sound of other people doing it. It was awful. So it was bumpy. We circled New York City for an hour and a half. Finally had to reroute to Pittsburgh. Landed in Pittsburgh. They said, get off the plane. We got to clean it. But don't leave the gate area because we're just looking for another window. And we're going to go back to New York. And when we see that window, we're going to board, go back to New York, land. We'll be fine. And so we did that. Jump back on the plane, go back to New York, circle. Another hour. Could not land. Same turbulence. People throwing up again. Went back to Pittsburgh. Had to stay the night in Pittsburgh and get up the next morning and fly to New York. And when we landed in New York the next morning, everybody was like, woohoo! Like everybody got it.
Oh yeah, everybody's friends now.
Yeah, everybody was so happy. And the other time I was landing in Charlotte or Raleigh, somewhere in North Carolina. We were landing and one of these deals.
Oh yeah.
We were gonna miss the runway. Or he had blown. It was windy and something wasn't right.
Yeah.
And we
So
were
we gotta
like,
pull it back up.
We were
real
about
hard.
to touch down, and then he pulled it back up,
That's
and we went
scary.
Well, it's just it's abrupt,
Jarring,
and jarring, and you don't expect it. I wasn't like, oh my god, because I recognize
and the noise it makes. Like,
it's just you don't expect that.
Yeah.
When you're landing, you think you're about to land, not pull back up. And so that was I knew what was happening, but beyond stuff like that, just relax.
Yeah, just relax.
Get you a drink. Get you 5 drinks. Whatever you got to do, load yourself up. But, man, we can't be spraying mist.
No.
And humming and shaking.
No.
How do you even shake tension out? Do you know how to do it?
I've never done that
I've never. Is this how you do it? Is that how you shake your tension out?
That looks weird.
It just looks weird.
Yeah.
Now I look like Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I'm never doing that.
This is probably what Caleb Williams does. This is probably how Caleb Williams got his reputation as a weirdo, doing stuff like this. I don't know. I don't know how you shake your tension out, but I think this is pretty easy. This is a pretty easy situation. Yeah. You just you tell your friend, hey, I love you, happy to go to Italy with you, but are you going to act crazy again on the plane? And by crazy, I mean mist, shaking, humming, all that. Well, yeah, that's what I have to do to travel because the anxiety gets me. Okay, well, I'm not going to sit next to that. All right, I love you, and we'll have a great time when we get to Italy, but I'm not sitting next to that. So we're going to get different seats on the same plane, or I'll take a different flight, but I'm not sitting next to you with you doing all that nonsense. It's outrageous to me. If you need to do it, that's on you, but I can't participate in it.
Yeah.
I'd feel comfortable saying that to somebody I'm close with. I'd say that to you.
Yeah.
I'd say that to you. You wouldn't act like that, though, would you?
Never.
You just take a couple gummies and we'd be good.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
You sound like the perfect travel partner, Bennett.
I'm pretty good.
We should go somewhere sometime. We should go somewhere sometime.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We should go somewhere sometime.
I'm down.
All right. Be back with GP's Carryout.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball. But the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board. A class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
It's more fun to be there live to see the Memphis Grizzlies hit the court all season long. From the electricity in FedEx Forum to the highlight reel plays, there's nothing quite like Grizzlies basketball. As the official marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies, Ticketmaster gets you in with a huge selection of seats. So get off the couch and into the stands while you still can. Score tickets today at Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com.
LifeCare Ambulance is proud to be an official partner of the Memphis Grizzlies and FedEx Forum. At LifeCare, they wear their hearts with pride. Their passion is their people. They want you to love what you do and where you do it. Their employee-driven culture encourages a healthy work-life balance and supportive work environment. They invest in your success and well-being so that you can provide the best care for the patients that they serve. Join the incredible team of EMTs and paramedics in Memphis, Nashville, and across the nation today. Learn more at lifecareamb.com.
I'm 10 feet ahead of you. Catch me in something you'll never do. I turn around and I level you. No motivation is needed. Look, I put myself on the pedestal. This is incredible.
Take your fandom to the next level with the official Grizzlies app. Go all access and behind the scenes.
It's got to be heavy defense. That's where it starts for us.
Personalized to where you are and who you are. Get easy access to ticketing, the game day guide, and your own app customization right at your fingertips. Upgrade your experience and download the Grizzlies app today.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball. But the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board. A class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
Show presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Built Ford Tough studio. Let's wrap it up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but in the opening hour, we mostly focused on the University of Memphis because big developments there, of course. The athletic department looking for a new athletic director. We touched on that. And then, of course, big news yesterday afternoon. Jayden Quaintance, a 5-star forward, class of 2024, so somebody who will be playing college basketball next season, is reportedly focused mostly on Louisville and the University of Memphis. He was initially signed to play for John Calipari at Kentucky. There was some thought that he would maybe just follow John Calipari to Arkansas. That's what some other Kentucky signees are doing. That's what some Memphis signees did when John left Memphis for Kentucky. Jayden Quaintance said, no, that's not what we're going to do. So Arkansas appears to be out. Louisville has already received a visit. Memphis is expected to get one this weekend. We had Jason Munz on with us in that opening hour. He said that father told him yesterday that there could be additional visits to other schools after Memphis. But he also told Jason Munz that, if they get to Memphis this weekend and it feels right, looks right, and they're satisfied, they could go ahead and commit as early as this weekend. So Memphis involved with one of the most talented high school players in America, and he's a prospect who, because he is so young, still only 16 years old, and doesn't turn 17 until July, he isn't eligible for the NBA draft until 2026. In other words, you get him at Memphis. There's no guarantee you'll get him for 2 years, but he's got to do 2 years of something before he can enter the NBA draft. So best case scenario, 2 years at Memphis, right? But it could be 1 year at Memphis, 1 year doing something else. It could be 0 years at Memphis, 2 years somewhere else, split it up, do G League Ignite, do Overtime Elite. The options are plentiful, but Memphis is one of them. And so we'll see where this recruitment goes.
What's today's biggest game?
I think it's Pelicans Thunder.
I think so.
Just because, did you see the odds on Celtics Heat?
I did.
It's like minus 50,000.
I know, and that one's like 14.5 is insane. That's just a crazy line for an NBA playoff game, but I just don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, just
I think it's a sweep, but I don't know. You know what I mean? I think it's a sweep. I'm sure you're going to get a competitive game here or there, but I just don't know what to do with that.
Kendrick Perkins, and the Celtics are minus 50,000. That means you have to put up $50,000 to win 100.
I probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
It's a little risky.
A little risky.
I don't think too much risk, but I wouldn't do it.
There's some idiot out there who
will do that. Yeah.
And then, the way these stories go.
Oh, yeah.
And then Jason Tatum, breaks his foot.
Right.
And Jaylen Brown breaks his ear.
Yep.
And now, can you break your ear, you think?
Can you break it? No, I think it's cartilage. I don't think you can break it.
Well, isn't that fortunate?
Yeah, I don't think you can break it. You can get cauliflower ear.
Oh, buddy, they have that in UFC, I see.
Yeah.
Would you be willing?
I started to get it a little bit.
How then?
It's in this ear, you see it's a little there's a little
What's going on
puffiness. I played rugby for 3 years in high school.
Of course you did.
And when you're in the scrum, you're it's why you see rugby players wearing those helmets or have tape wrapped around their ears, because your ears are rubbing up against other people's body parts.
Oh wow.
And so my ear started to get a little cauliflowery.
Huh.
So it's got a little bump right here.
Rugby, huh?
Yeah.
That's a good way that probably prepares you for January 6th a little bit.
They probably had a few rugby players. No, man.
I bet they
did. Dude. No, that's an international sport.
I like rugby. My oldest son played rugby.
Did he?
At Los Angeles.
Did he really? I don't think they had a team. We started it. We started the inaugural high school leagues around town.
No, I'm sorry. He didn't play rugby. He played lacrosse.
Yeah. Lacrosse. White Station had lacrosse too.
Yeah, he had lacrosse. Whatever.
Yeah, that's with the sticks and the.
It's the same type of thing.
It's not even close.
A bunch of people just running around chasing the ball.
No, not really.
It's kind of the same thing. I think it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Celtics minus 50,000 over the Heat. So let's focus on the Pelicans and the Thunder. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, top 3 Skims model. We agree on that, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Kim K, number 1.
Number 1.
I think
she created it.
She created it.
Yeah.
Sabrina Carpenter, I think we put number 2.
Yep.
That's controversial, though.
Yeah, I don't know the list. So.
Yeah, we get it. Yep. Starts with Kim.
Yep.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's on there somewhere. Pelicans, still no Zion. Oklahoma City leads the series 1-0. Tonight, 7.5-point favorite. The total is 211.5. Your record is now 105, 114, and 4. You're down 22.5 units.
Jeez.
Actually, no, you're not. I lied. I did you dirty. You're down 21.4 units.
Okay. I guess I'll take the Pelicans to cover.
7.5. You're going to zigzag this thing.
Yeah, because when
you tried it last night. You tried it last night.
I know. I tried it last night. It didn't work.
Didn't work for you. You tried it last night. Didn't work for you.
Wasn't the first game pretty close?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, 94-92. I don't.
You just hate Oklahoma City. That's one thing I've gathered this week.
I do hate
you just
them.
You don't respect the Paycom Center. You don't seem like you respect Chet Holmgren.
I'd like to see the Pelicans even this series.
You would?
Yeah, I would. They need to be humbled a little bit.
The Oklahoma City Thunder need to be humbled.
Yes, they do need to be humbled.
People used to say that about.
I hope my man JV does that.
People used to say that about the young Grizzlies.
They sure did. And we were humbled.
We've been very humbled.
We were humbled.
We've been incredibly humbled.
Yeah, thanks,
if you were out there hoping we'd be humbled, congratulations. Oh, buddy, we've been humbled.
Yeah.
We've been humbled.
So, yeah, I think now it's their turn to be humbled a little bit. Yeah, they need to be brought down to earth.
I like them. I like the Thunder.
No.
I do.
I
do like them.
I can't stand that. I hate
like them. I like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I like Chet Holmgren. I like how much they seem to like each other. I like them.
No, dude.
I can.
No.
I like them.
I do not.
I like their colors.
Ugh.
I like that blue and orange.
With the freaking Lowe's logo on it.
I like them.
What not Lowe's? Love's, the gas station icon.
I like Love's.
No, dude.
I like gas stations.
I like gas stations too, but not on like my NBA jerseys.
That's fair.
Fair. I'm not. No, thank you. No, thank you.
I like seeing young teams emerge. And then when everybody says you're too young to do it, I like the idea of them saying, no, we're not. Watch this. I'm rooting for Oklahoma City. I'll take it a step farther. I'm rooting for Oklahoma City.
Okay.
I'm a Thunder supporter right now.
I am completely anti-Thunder.
I like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Dude, he's like maybe 5th on the Skims models rankings.
We need to get a definitive ranking of Skims models. We're going to work on that.
Plus, well, we haven't said this yet. That stupid commercial with him and Chet is driving the whole country insane.
The whole country hates this commercial.
Like, dude.
I've seen it, but I don't pay attention. I know what you're talking about, but what is it even for?
Like, that's worse than like the GCM commercials that run every single day for like a month straight.
Let's not get carried away. Let's not get carried away. All right? Let's not get carried away.
Dude, that's the most...
What is the commercial even for? I know what you're talking about.
I don't know. They start singing What a Girl Wants.
Yeah, I can see it, but I don't have any idea what they're doing.
I just know that I hear it. It drives me insane.
Well, what is the point of having commercials if I don't even know what are you trying to do with them? Like, I don't even know what they're trying to do.
I don't know either.
What are they trying to sell me? What are they trying to tell me to do? Do you even know?
No.
I don't have any idea.
I just know they start singing that song, and I'm like, please get this off my television now.
Yeah, I just don't even pay attention. I just zone out. I'm just zoning
Awful.
out.
Worst commercial on TV.
Worst commercial on TV?
Yeah.
All right, you're taking the Pelicans plus the 7.5.
Reluctantly.
I'm on my Thunder. I'm on my Thunder tonight.
What are we watching on TV?
Hey, new documentary just dropped on Netflix.
Okay.
Duran. There's something you should know. There's something you should know about Duran. What do you think it is?
A lot. All I know about Duran is hungry like a wolf.
You're hungry like a wolf?
That's literally all I know about Duran. So apparently I got a lot to learn.
There's a lot you should know.
Yeah. What other songs do they have?
Duran.
That's like the only Duran song I know.
I mean, I can't name them right now, but like I grew up with them, like in the 80s, right? Duran was massive pop band, right? And now there's apparently a lot of stuff you should know. And I just think documentaries on massive rock or pop bands from the 80s are always going to be wild.
Yeah, they're fun, typically.
There's just wild stuff happening.
Yeah,
Just doing wild stuff all the time.
Yeah.
That's back when you could do some wild stuff all the time. It's a little bit like that Studio 54 documentary I told you about that's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Just wild stuff. just fun to watch people be wild, right? I'll check out Duran Duran.
Okay.
I woke up in the middle of the night, and I never do this, I don't guess, but I accidentally, I don't know, I rolled over on the remote control or something. Next thing I know, my Netflix is on my big TV up there, and then I was, I've been having trouble moving. I don't know if you heard, I got a back issue.
I heard.
And then I couldn't find the remote, and it was like I could either get up and look, or I could just lay here, tolerate it. So, I took the lazy way out.
I got you.
I'm just going to lay here and tolerate it.
I got you.
So as I'm just laying there, do you know that if you just let Netflix sit there, they'll just start showing you all the stuff that's coming up?
Yeah, you get the posters, that just kind of...
I never knew that.
Oh, yeah.
How did I never know that?
I love that.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I went from being frustrated that I accidentally turned my TV on at 3 in the morning to man, I'm learning.
Oh, yeah, sometimes I'll just get caught
that's what I did.
Uh-huh.
I did that for 11 minutes. I just laid there like this, like an idiot, just staring up. I'd be like, oh, that's interesting.
There's some kind of...
Oh, Adam Sandler's got a new movie coming out.
Yeah,
okay,
they thought that through, and how they pop up and slowly fade away. Yeah, it's nice.
I really had fun.
It's nice.
I'm gonna do it again.
Shout out Netflix.
I'm gonna do that again when I get home today.
Yep.
I learned a lot. That's where I learned about Duran Duran. So it's available right now. Duran Duran, there's something you should know. It's streaming, Netflix.com.
What's the best thing we've read?
Well, it ain't the best, but would you believe I've already updated the top 25 one 10 times?
Tigers in there?
No, could be.
GP.
Could be if things break.
Okay, okay.
Give me a...
Let's get an announcement this weekend.
Give me a 5-star freshman and a David Jones return, and maybe we got something.
What Musa? Could I, if I threw Musa in there? What if I get you a 5-star and Musa?
I don't know. You know what? Let's just
reconvene next week.
We'll look at it when it's time to look at it, right?
Okay.
We don't have to speculate. We don't have to make any grand decisions right now. We'll just wait and we'll look at it. We'll look at it when it's time to look at it. Ain't no sense in wasting time on it now.
Sure.
We'll look at it when it's time to look at it.
Okay.
Top 25 and 1 version 10.0 is up right now. I moved North Carolina back up. And Iowa State back up. They both added pieces yesterday. Seth Trimble at North Carolina was in the transfer portal. He's now out of the transfer portal, back at North Carolina. So that seems like one of those deals where I don't feel like I'm making enough money here, so perhaps I'll just get in the transfer portal. And then somebody at North Carolina says, you don't have to go in the transfer portal. We'll get you what you need. Come on back to Carolina, right?
Yep.
Smart. Yep. That's what I would tell my son to be doing.
Cool.
If he were a Division I athlete of that caliber. Get into the transfer portal, or at least threaten to get into the transfer portal and get the best deal you can get. This is all real money, and in some cases, life-changing money. There are student athletes who are able to with NIL money right now, pay off their sibling student loans, their parents' homes, credit cards, cars. This is real life-changing money for a lot of families. So, I don't blame anybody for trying to maximize it. So that appears what happened with Seth Trimble. Iowa State added Joshua Jefferson, a 6'6" forward from St. Mary's, averaged double figures for a St. Mary's team that just won the West Coast Conference and the West Coast Conference tournament over Gonzaga. So now I've got Kansas number 1, Houston number 2, Iowa State number 3, North Carolina number 4, Duke number 5. So the top 3 teams in the country, the top 25 and 1 right now, are all from the Big 12. Nice. Kansas, Houston, Iowa State. You can read it, CBSSports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow's Thursday. It's draft day.
It is NFL draft.
You fired up?
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm going to try to get excited.
I'm excited, yeah.
I wish I had a favorite NFL team so that I could, want stuff. I don't really care. But I'll get excited. I'll participate.
Okay.
I'll get excited. I don't care about any of it, but I'll get excited for it. Because you know what you get to watch?
What?
Dreams come true.
That's it. That's
what we'll do tomorrow night. We'll turn on the television and just every 6, 7, 8 minutes or so, you know what you're going to see? Another dream come true.
I love it. And
then there's always that, one person who's supposed to go 6 and they're still sitting there at 26. So that's always fascinating, right? And then somebody's always got a girlfriend that goes viral. That's fun. Then we all Google her, look at her Instagram. She's going to pick up about 400,000 followers tomorrow night. That's going to happen. And then that weirdo Caleb Williams. Where's he going to go? Probably Chicago.
I think so.
But what if he's too weird for Chicago? That's what some folks are saying. I just made myself interested.
There we go.
I'm fired up. I can't wait. Wish it was starting right now. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to enjoy mine. We'll meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.